Welcome to the Urban Angle. Your city, your fish, your experience. With your host, David Kearney. Join us as we explore the opportunities, obstacles, and rewards urban fishing has to offer. And now your host, David Kearney.
So are we on now? Are we good?
Welcome to the Urban Angle. I am your host, David Kearney, and we have a fantastic show coming up for all you urban anglers. I ran a bit long on the interview, so we're just going to get right down to it. Our guest this week on the Urban Angle, simply put, is a Canadian fishing legend. Please welcome to the show my friend, David Chong. Welcome to the show, David.
Hey, Dave. Pleasure to be here.
You grew up in Toronto, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience from that time?
Sure. Yeah, I grew up in the west end of Toronto, not far from High Park. My fishing roots basically had a lot to do with the west end of the city. So, Grenadier Pond and High Park, actually a few of the other ponds, Catfish Pond across the other side of the road, Humber River, et cetera, et cetera. We were a Chinese family growing up in a predominantly Polish, Ukrainian neighborhood around Roncesvalles there. And my parents worked most of the time. So, my brother and three sisters, we kind of amused ourselves. And a lot of that involved getting out fishing, especially in High Park.
So you kids had to make your own fun.
Yep, exactly.
And was High Park your favorite fishing destination, or did you have another favorite destination to fish in the city?
It probably was. It still offers some pretty good fishing, but you got largemouth there, you had lots of panfish, you got a few pike in there, and what was real interesting was we fished it for years and years, and all of a sudden, and I honestly don't know how they got there, but all of a sudden crappie appeared in there. And then for many, many years, like the crappie fishing was just absolutely phenomenal. It was just so much fun, the whole thing about fishing. If you're not having fun, if you're not catching it, I don't know. I like fishing, but catching is really what I'm all about. So.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to have that little tug on the line. Doesn't matter how big that tug is.
Exactly. Some people are okay just sitting there waiting. I prefer to be catching things. That's all.
Me too. So do you have like a most memorable catch when you were fishing in Toronto?
Had quite a few over the years. I caught a walleye once in High Park in Grenadier Pond, which was shocking. And you know what? I have never seen very many walleye caught out of Grenadier Pond, so that was very memorable. Other memorable catches. We used to catch not one, but this is something that people probably today don't even recognize, but we used to catch American eels down at the Humber River all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's that many make it up that far anymore. Yeah, we used to catch them regularly. It wasn't an incidental catch. We go down at the time of years, and we for sure would catch a couple of American eels. So, that kind of stuff is pretty cool.
We'll be right back with more Urban Angle.
Kitefish quality flies are hand-tied to perfection. Visit us at www.kitefish.com for our complete line of products, including flies, beads, and promotional offers at fantastic prices. Use the code RADIO1 to get free shipping and no tax on your next order. That's www.kypefish.com.
Castle Rock Outdoor Marketing. We're here to help put your business on the map. At Castle Rock, we specialize in marketing for outdoor companies. No company is too big or too small for Castle Rock Outdoors Marketing. Contact us at castlerockoutdoors@gmail.com. Find Castle Rock Outdoors on Facebook and on Twitter at Castle Rock Media. Castle Rock Outdoor Marketing.
Welcome back to the Urban Angle.
So back in 2012, you revisited Toronto and you were doing a little fishing down at the harbor front there. And back in 2012, there was an issue that had arose in which the managing body of the harbor front and the board of directors began to wage war on urban angling. You yourself getting caught up in the action. Tell our listeners a bit about that incident.
Sure. Well, actually, I was actually at Ontario Place. Kind of went back to my roots. Remember the day clearly. I was actually down at the Sportsman Show when it was downtown, and it was a beautiful day. It wasn't overly busy there. I had my fishing gear in my truck, and a friend of mine, Bobby Guan with Ouch Tungsten there, he was just kind of hanging out, and I said, "Hey, listen, it's quiet here. Let's blow this place, and why don't we go do a little bit of fishing?" I used to catch some nice pike off of Ontario Place as well, and it was a beautiful day out. It was nice and warm for that time of year in March, and we went down to Ontario Place, and we were fishing away. We saw a couple fish, and there were a couple of young people down there, probably in their late teens who were fishing as well. And we hadn't even been fishing for probably not even half an hour or so. And all of a sudden, one of the Metropolitan Police boats pull up. And we honestly thought they were wanted to dock there for some reason. And we kept moving along, and they just kept following us along the wall as we kept moving along. And then finally one of them spoke up and said, "You're going to have to stop fishing here." And of course, I didn't understand why. And he said he tried to tell me it was illegal to fish anywhere along the Toronto waterfront. I was, we always show the utmost respect to our police, officers and everything, and I wasn't going to get into a huge argument. I asked him why, and the strange part was he was enforcing something that he really wasn't even aware of why he was trying to enforce that. He couldn't tell me. In fact, he asked me a question, well, maybe because it's dangerous. And I kind of looked around, and there was Bobby, myself, and these two young people, and there was like not a single person anywhere near us. And I was thinking, dangerous to who? Again, if you're irresponsible with anything, it could be dangerous, right? Yeah. Whether it's riding a bicycle, a skateboard, anything. If you're irresponsible, it could be dangerous. But when it's responsible fishing, it's not dangerous to anybody. So when I actually went back to the Sportsman Show, approached the people from the Ontario Federation of Angler and Hunter, and they suggested I get a hold of the local media, which I did contact the Star and the Sun, and as well as wrote a letter to our mayor at that time, Rob Ford, who I received a zero response from, not even acknowledgement of my letter. But the papers were very happy to tell our side of the story. And when I actually talked to the Harbor Commission, who has authority over that realm there, basically they said they've never asked the police to enforce that bylaw, which is actually a old bylaw, and we know how some old bylaws get stuck in the books and just never get taken off. And they were put there for a different reason totally than what these people. And fortunately and unfortunately, but it was a young officer who thought he'd take it upon. He was a little gung ho and. Yeah. Is going to enforce everything. But it kind of brought to light, the problem that many people were encountering on the waterfront, and that's, the denial of, accessible water for fishing.
That's exactly right, Dave. Now, did anything positive come from this encounter along the waterfront?
Well, shortly afterwards, and I don't know how much my personal experience had to do with it coming around, but we all know Paula Fletcher introduced a motion to council the Gone Fishing thing, and allowing anybody to fish on public land as long as it's not posted that they're not allowed to be there. So. And again, it brought to light, first of all, that actually the Toronto waterfront has some of the best fishing for a large urban center. It's got incredible fishing, whether you're fishing for carp or pike or bass, you get salmon at different times of year, brown trout, it's rainbows, and whatever kind of panfish you want to catch. And it's something that's really underutilized. Everybody thinks you got to drive 2, 3, 4 hours out of the city to go fishing, and you don't, when you can fish right in the city. And when I was growing up, I had a bicycle and the TTC, and we went fishing everywhere.
It's still like that, Dave. Hike, bike, take the TTC. I can walk 10 minutes to the dawn and I'm fishing.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what? We one time, actually a good friend of mine, in fact, he was your first guest in your show, Taro Murata, and I were fishing down in the harbor front there, and we caught a pike and everything, and we ran into some people who lived in the fairly pricey condos down there. Yeah. It was one gentleman in particular who who loved fishing, and he paid to go on these fly-in trips and stuff, and he said he never even caught a pike as big as the ones we were catching down there. So it's something that's kind of a hidden gem, and but I think the more people that know about it, fishing is such a great activity for children to get into, and it teaches people hopefully a lot of the right values.
Since that time, Toronto's urban fishing scene has actually seen a revitalization. It's a good thing, and accessibility is on the table now with City Council. They're talking about considering ways to increase urban fishing accessibility here in Toronto.
Sure, because you can look at so many ways. Growing up in the city, we weren't in a particularly bad part of town, but I know there's areas of Toronto where, if you're a young person and you've got nothing to do, it's very easy to get wrapped up or sucked into the wrong activities.
Yeah.
And I think for the youth of today, if they're into something like fishing, I guarantee you the chances of them getting involved with the wrong people in the wrong places are so drastically increased. I know Terrell grew up in not a very good section of town, and I know he'll tell you this to this very day that fishing probably saved him, because he could have been easily dragged into some not so pleasant activities down there.
Yep, exactly, Dave. And that's one of the things that TUFA is trying to address through some of our programs and events. It's to get kids fishing.
Yeah, and I have to, if you give me a second, I have to give you guys at the Toronto Urban Fishing Ambassadors full props for everything you do. I know, and you guys are all volunteers. You put in so much time yourself, David Clark, and all the other ambassadors put so much time into it. I really, personally, I really wish I could get involved a little bit more, and I try to in wherever I can, but you guys do a fantastic job, and the urban fishing festivals and events that you guys have put on, and the way you deal with the public, especially the public who for whether it's out of ignorance or whatever, I don't think people should be fishing there.
Yeah. And
you always handle them with class and kind of almost love them to death rather than do a major fight over it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're trying.
Oh, I know. It
gets frustrating sometimes. So
it's a challenge, and it can be frustrating as all hell, because there are some people who just they're very closed-minded, but they expect you to be open-minded.
Yeah.
We
have to be the flexible ones.
Exactly.
You're a very busy man, Dave. You have all your fishing tournaments, the boat shows, the sportsman shows, the fishing shows, seminars, sponsorship obligations, and then there's your charity work. When do you find time for your guiding services?
I still do a little bit of guiding. I don't get the opportunity. I don't actually have the number of days that to dedicate to that. Especially during the summer, I'm tied up in lots of tournaments, and part of the tournament is sponsorship, and of course working as a sales rep within the fishing tackle industry. That takes up a lot of time as well. But I maybe 12, 15 guide trips I do a year, which for me is plenty. Terrell, I know how many trips that Terrell does, and God bless him. God bless him. He's amazing that he can do all those trips, and mind you, he's much younger than I am. I don't know if my body can handle doing all those guide trips that he does.
Let's talk a little bit about your tournament angling, Dave. You recently competed in the 19th annual Anglers and Hunters Pike Tournament on Lake Nosponsing, and you and your team finished in second place. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're known for fishing bass tournaments and pike tournaments. What other species of fish do you tournament angle for?
Well, I'm really, lots of people think of me as a bass angler, but I'm really a multi-species angler. I love fishing for anything that swims. And as far as tournaments go, on it, we've won pike tournaments. We've won perch tournaments, crappie tournaments, obviously bass tournaments, including the Renegade Classic this year, which I won with my partner Doug Brownridge. It was the 20th. Actually, that was the 20th annual Renegade Bass Classic that we won. I like to river fish. If it swims, I'll fish for
it.
You'll
fish it, and you'll fish
but
it
as far as competitively goes, pike and bass are probably, the species that we most commonly think. We do a few perch tournaments and crappie tournaments. Actually, I'd like to probably do a few more walleye tournaments. It's probably the only species that I fish tournaments for that I haven't won a tournament. We've had seconds, we've had lots of top tens, but I've yet to win a walleye tournament. So that's on my bucket list. I got to win a walleye tournament before I stop. Yeah, before I stop competitively fishing, I would like to win a walleye tournament just to round it all off.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more from Canadian fishing great David Chong.
Kitefish quality flies are hand-tied to perfection. Visit us at www.kitefish.com for our complete line of products, including flies, beads, and promotional offers at fantastic prices. Use the code RADIO1 to get free shipping and no tax on your next order. That's www.kypefish.com.
Looking for a secure, rugged, and portable solution for your outdoor storage or transportation needs? StoreStack has your solution.
StoreStack!
You dream it, they build it. StoreStack is custom shipping container modification and portable building fabrication. Think StoreStack for all your fishing, hunting, and outdoor storage and transportation needs. Visit us at storestack.com. That's STORSTAC.com.
StoreStack!
Interactive, educational, and inspirational is what Fishing Frenzy is all about. We have developed a school program based off the outdoor curriculum to cater to the learning abilities of all elementary school grades. Our school program is about teaching the next generation about ethical fishing and protecting our environment in a positive way. Visit www.fishingfrenzy.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. That's Fishing Frenzy, friend with a ZY.
Bluefish Stewardship Tips.
And now here's Lawrence Gunther with another Bluefish Stewardship Tip.
I'm Lawrence Gunther, and this is another Bluefish Canada Stewardship Tip. With smartphones and digital cameras, it's so easy to get that great, trophy pick. There's a certain way to do it without causing injury to the fish. Number one, don't grab the fish by the lip and hold it up in the vertical position so it's hanging straight up and down. That's fine for smaller fish, but big fish, it's really hard on their organs. Remember, fish live in zero gravity conditions. They're suspended neutrally in the water. They don't feel gravity. Once they get out of the water and you're lifting them where they have the full effect of the gravity without the comfort and the support of the water, everything hangs down. And when it hangs, it stretches, and when it stretches, it can cause internal injuries to that fish. So you want to support its belly, and you want to make sure your camera is ready to go. So when you get the fish and you unhook it and it's in the net and it's still in the water in the net, then you get your buddy or get your camera for the selfie. You lift the fish out, you snap the pick, you get it back into the water quick. It shouldn't take more than 15, 20 seconds to get that great photograph for bragging, for Facebook, whatever. Get ready, make sure you're all set to go before you take the fish out of the water. Remember, for the latest stewardship news, listen to Bluefish Radio.
Welcome back to the Urban Angle with our guest, David Chong. We're coming into, here in Canada anyway, we're coming into hard water season very soon. Today being an indicator, it's going to be coming very rapidly. So in making that transition from soft water to hard water, what's your process? What's your preparation? Where's your mindset at for that type of transition?
Yeah, well, I'm actually taking my boat up to the Finland Falls Marino, who's going to take care of winterizing it and everything tomorrow. So it's interesting you're bringing that up, and that's probably the first step. Recognizing that it's getting toward the end of the year and getting our boats taken care of, getting all your summer equipment out, and try to put it away and get it somewhat organized and sorted so it's not not such a mess when you bring it back out next spring. And I've already been getting all my ice fishing stuff out. Going to take my auger in to get a once over and make sure everything's fine with it, tuned up, and then wait for ice. Ice fishing is a blast. I do compete in a few competitive events, but really ice fishing for me is very much a social event. Love getting out, especially if we can get a couple of times last year we were able to get a sizable group out, 12, 15 people. And especially if you get a nice day out there, we can fish in the open, and everybody can talk to each other. A little bit of good nature, joking around, and have a fun time and catch a few fish. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, love it.
It's a great group activity. For
yeah,
fishing.
Absolutely. And like I said, for me, it really is a social thing. Even though I do the odd competitive event in it.
You're the face and the drive for Catch a Dream. And for those listeners who don't know, Catch a Dream is a not-for-profit kids fishing derby that you put on every year. This is going to be your 12th or 13th year, Dave?
No, it'll be our 12th year this year. And it's such a fantastic event. We get kids from most of them are city kids. We recruit them from Big Brother, Big Sisters organization, Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's Hospital for Sick Kids, the YMCA. So there's a bunch of different groups that we deal with in attracting the kids, and we take them and their big brother or their parent, and I organize for some of Ontario's top tournament anglers. Some guys are just real serious fishermen who have boats, and it's a little more than a derby. We actually take them out and get them most of them to check out what a ride in a bass boat is like, which is in some cases actually the kids enjoy the boat ride more than the actual fishing side of it. But introduce them to boating, introduce them to fishing. They get to weigh in a professional tournament setting with the big stage, and there's prizes for everybody. And you know what? There's no adult who can come out to an event like this and partake in it and be a part of it, whether you're a boater, whether you're a volunteer, whether you're a sponsor, or whether it's your kid, and not walk away, feeling good about yourself. Everybody's a winner in this case here.
Well, I'll have to agree with you there, Dave, because I've been out several times to your event.
Yeah.
It's a blast. We have such a good time. And it doesn't matter about the weather, if it's raining or if it's cold.
And we had that this year.
We still have such a great time at your events.
Yeah. Of course, you can never count on the weather, and you have to plan these things in advance. And with all the planning and organization that goes into it, it's not like you could just put it off to the next weekend or whatever. It pretty well goes rain or shine. The only time we wouldn't send them out is if we had to deal with lightning storms or anything like that, where it's dangerous. But a little bit of rain, it's not gonna, unless you're a witch, I guess it's not going to hurt anybody. And we had to coax the kids to come off the water. They wanted to stay out there in the rain and fish, and that tells you how much it means to them.
So what's coming up next for you, Dave?
Well, we're doing something actually very first time for myself and my partner Doug Brownridge. Again, on basis of winning the Renegade Classic, we actually finished first overall in the team standings in the Renegade Circuit out east. And we've won the opportunity to go down to Guntersville, Alabama, and compete in the BASF Team Championship, which is pretty cool. There'll be probably, I think, 185 teams minimum competing. You compete for 2 days. This is a tough one. 185 teams, a big field. Yeah. And if you manage to finish in the top 3, then you continue on to the next 2 days. You actually split up and then fish at 6 individuals. And then the person who wins the next 2 days out of those 6 people gets an automatic ticket to the Bass Masters Classic, which is, it's the World Championship of Bass Fishing, the World Series of Bass Fishing, whatever you want to call it. It's probably the most
that's the elite.
Yeah, prestigious event that you can imagine in bass tournament fishing.
Well, I wish you very much luck with that, Dave.
Oh,
tight lines
thank
the
you.
Entire time.
Yeah. Well, we'll take all the luck we can get. It's it's new body of water for us. We've never fished there before. we're excited. We're looking forward to it.
Well, like I say, Dave, I wish you very much luck in that. I won't keep you. I know you're a very busy man. You got stuff to get to. And so thank you very much for joining us here on the Urban Angle.
Well, my pleasure. Anytime you want me to come on and talk to yourself and your listeners on the Urban Angler, I'll be more than happy to.
I very much appreciate that, Dave. You have yourself a fantastic evening.
Thank you. You too.
Fishing, hunting, boating, and the rest of the great outdoors 24/7, 365 on Reno Viola Outdoors Radio. Download the free Reno Viola Outdoors Radio app or visit wrvoradio.com online.
Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Angle. I want to thank our guest David Chong for joining us. I look forward to hearing more from Dave on future episodes. I want to thank my sound engineer Jeff Doner, and a huge thank you to my editor and copywriter Josie Dacres. A big shout out to Chris Chamberlain for hanging out in the studio, and a special thank you to our listeners. Have yourself a very happy and safe holiday season. Tune in to more Urban Angle in 2016.